Hello friends, in this video lecture we are going to learn about the gear trends. In the last video lecture we had learned about the gears. What is the gear, how the gear is formed, how the gear is designed. Okay, so gear is very simple component of a machine element, that is a wheel which has the projections on its periphery to transmit the motion from one shaft to the another shaft, specifically from driving shaft to the driven shaft. If suppose there are more number of gears which are in action to transmit the power between driving and driven shaft, then that is termed to be a gear train. So in gear train there are many number of gears mounted on the different shafts, more than two at least. That is called as a gear train. We'll see what is exactly the gear train, how it looks like, and how it is operated. So when two or more gears are made to mesh with each other to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft, that becomes a gear train. So in this particular figure, we can see there are different gears mounted on different shafts. Okay, we can see here this is one shaft, this is another shaft, third shaft, fourth shaft. Now the power is, let us understand. The power is, let us consider that this is your driving shaft, this is your output, that is the driven shaft. Then the power is transmitted from this gear to this gear, this gear to this gear, that is from this gear to this gear, and from this gear to this gear. So power is being transmitted and modified between the shafts using the gears. So this is called as your gear train. Okay. So there are different types of gear train. One is simple gear train, compound gear train, reverted type of gear train, and epicyclic gear train. So very simple. You can see in simple gear train what happens when the gears are mounted or each gear is mounted on the different shaft. Let us consider that there are say four different shafts. Let us assume that is one shaft, second shaft, third and fourth. There are four different shafts. And suppose let us consider that this is one gear, this is another gear mounted on the second shaft. Say this is your third shaft, and third gear is mounted here, and fourth gear is mounted over here. And now power is transmitted between these gears. And each shaft consists of a single gear. Then this is called as the simple gear train. In compound gear train, what happens? If more than one gear is mounted on the same shaft, then that is called as the compound gear train. So in the previous slide we have seen this particular figure, this is the compound gear train type, because see on this one shaft, say this is first shaft, it consists of two gears, this one gear and second gear. Okay, second consists of say one only, but third consists of three gears. Okay, so this type of gear train is called as compound gear train. Reverted gear train, in reverted gear train what happens, the first gear and last gear, that is input gear and l- output gear mounted on the same axis, or on the same axis. Okay, not the same shaft but on the same axis, then such type of gear train is called as reverted gear train. So we are going to analyze each type of gear train. There we are going to understand exactly what is the construction of this kind of gear trains. Okay, then epicyclic gear train. In epicyclic gear train what happens, see in previous type of gear trains we have seen the shafts are fixed, or shaft axes are fixed. Shafts are rotating about the fixed axis, so shafts are not going to move anywhere in the system, only gears are rotating. But in epicyclic gear train what happens, in addition to the rotation of gears, the shafts are also rotating about a particular axis, okay. So we are going to learn this also in the coming slides. So we are going to discuss more about these gear trends in the coming slides. Okay, so we'll move towards the next slide. Okay, so what important point is here in the gear trends, what you have to understand is your train value, is the train value of a particular gear train. Okay, so before designing the gear train, first of all we have to go through this particular aspect of the gear train, we have to understand what is the gear train, okay, or train value of the gear train, so that when you want to decide how much amount of power and how much amount of motion is to be transmitted between the shafts, then this is very useful. This equation is very useful. Okay. So what is train value? It is the ratio of speed of driven to the speed of driver. So one means driver, two means driven. So it is the ratio of speed of driver driven to the speed of driver. Okay, which is equivalent to number of teeth on the driver to the number of equivalent on number of teeth on the driven. Okay, so n is the speed and t is the number of teeth. So t1 means what? Number of teeth on the driver. T2 means number of teeth on the driven. So this is that simple. So definition of train value is that it is a ratio of the speed of the driven to the speed of driver. Okay. So we'll move towards the next. Now, can you compute the train value for the different types of gear trains? We can easily. In simple gear train, this is the equation, simple equation. In compound gear train, how to find out the train value? See, because number of gears are there, and obviously you know the train value is a function of number of teeth also. Okay. So then which number of teeth is to be considered while finding the train value? Because on the second shaft you can see, let us say this is second shaft, second and third gear are mounted. Both will have the different number of teeth. Then which number of teeth is to be included? Okay. So to understand this, so we'll consider this example. There are six gears, okay, and four shafts. Second and third shaft consist of two gears on each. Okay. So let us consider first pair of gears, that is 1 and 2. For first pair 1 and 2, what will be your train value? Obviously, n2 upon n1 will be equal to t1 upon t2. Okay. Now, if you consider the second pair of gear, that is second and third, so what will be the train value? N2, sorry, n3 upon n2, because for second pair n3 will be your driven and n2 will be your driver, which will be equal to t2 upon t3. Okay. In the same way, we'll have another pair, that is 3 and 4. In that, n4 upon n3 equal to t4 t3 upon t4. In the same way, 4 and 5, then 5 and 6. Okay. Now what we want here, basically train value. Train value, obviously you know the definition. The speed of driven to the speed of driver. What we want here, we want this n1 upon n6, because you know 6 is a driven and 1 is a driver. We want this particular. So therefore, then to get this, we will multiply all these equations. Say equation 1, equation 2, in the same way, third, fourth, we had got. Multiply these equations, left side and right side. So we'll see here the multiplication in this particular equation. n1 upon n2, n3 upon n4, n5 upon n6, that way. Must be equal to t2 upon t1, t4 upon t3, t6 upon t5, that way. Okay. So therefore, okay, now this is inverse equation. Okay, TK, no problem. We'll consider this uh, inversion of this, inverse of this. Okay, so n6 upon n1. This must be equal to n6 upon n1. Okay. So um, then from first equation we'll get, let us assume that it is n1 upon n2 equal to t1 upon t2. Okay. So n1 upon n2 into n2 upon n3 into n3 upon n4 into n5 upon n6, that way. Okay. So which must be equal to t2 upon t1, t4 upon t3, t6 upon t5, right? Here what happens? N2 and N3. See, these two gears are mounted on the same shaft. It means that their speeds must be same. So N2 must be equal to N3. So N2, N3 cancel. Okay. In the same way, N4 will be cancelled. Okay, that is not shown over here. So therefore, at the end, what will get here? So N5, N5. Okay, N4 and N5 are the same. So that is cancelled. So you will get N1 upon N6. N1 upon N6. That must be equal to, okay, but the number of teeth are different. So that cannot be cancelled. So therefore, N1 upon N6 is equal to this product upon this product. So what is this product? Okay, so we'll write down the inverse of this. N6 upon N1 equal to T1, T3 and T5 on the numerator side, and on denominator side T2, T4 and T6. Okay, Now, therefore, then we can generalize this equation. If suppose in the same way there are more number of gears mounted on the on another different shafts, then we can generalize this equation as the train value of a compound gear train is defined as the ratio of NC upon N1, but that is equal to the product. See, what is this? This is the product multiplication. Product of what? Product of number of teeth. Product of number of teeth on C. T1, T3, T5. What are those? Are the drivers. Okay. And T2, T3, T4, and T6 are what? Are the driven. Okay. So product of number of teeth on the drivers upon product of number of teeth on the driven. Okay. So this way we can generalize the equation for train value of a compound gear train. Okay. Now reverted gear train. See, now what is reverted gear train? Already we had discussed definition. The first gear and last gear are mounted on the same axis. See, coaxial shafts. So this is your input gear, intermediate and output. This is your output. This is output. This is your input. Okay. And this shaft is intermediate shaft. So input and output gears are mounted on the same axis. Now what is the benefit you will get out of this reverted gear train? For the number of gears, you can see the size is very compact. For the number of speeds, you have a compact design. So this is the advantage of reverted gear train. So what happens here then? You can see the distance between two shafts is constant always. So therefore, R1 plus R2 must be equal to R3 plus R4. So we have written over here. And you know the definition of module M equal to D upon T. M equal to D upon T. So you know D is nothing but your R by 2. So MT by 2 will be your R, will be equal to your R. Okay. So we can put these values over here. For R1 we can put MT1 upon 2. For R2 MT2 upon 2. Okay. Then 1 half will be common and cancelled. M will be common because M is constant for all. So M by 2 will be common and it will be taken common and then cancelled from both the sides. Then finally we get this equation T1 plus T2 equal to T3 plus T4. And what will be the train value? We can find out train value in the same way as we have seen in the compound, because this is one of the form of compound gear train only. Okay. So this is the reverted gear train. Now next one is epicyclic gear train. So very important, epicyclic gear train. So already we discussed the definition. In epicyclic gear train, what happens? The gears are rotating about their axis, but in addition to that, one of the shafts in the system rotates about the frame of reference or any other axis. For example, say this is your gear which is pivoted at this particular on this particular axis. Okay, so gear A is rotating about this axis. Okay, and gear B is also rotating about this axis. But now see, this is the shaft. This is the second shaft. This shaft is also rotating about this gear. Shaft as well as this gear is rotating about the gear. Then this kind of gear is called as, or gear train is called as epicyclic gear train. Now in this case, how to find out the gear train value? Not simple, because the shaft is also not fixed. So shaft is rotating, gear is also rotating. So therefore it will hamper the rotation of the gear B. Then how to find out the gear train value or the speed of the second gear, or say this B gear? Sometimes it may happen that the gear B is at all not rotating but the shaft is rotating. Or it may also happen that the gear B is rotating at a very high speed or very low speed. So very difficult to find out the train value and the speeds of such gears in the gear train. So therefore we have one method, that is the tabular method, to find out the train values or the speeds of the different elements in the epicyclic gear train. So this procedure is fixed for all type of epicyclic gear trains. Any problem if you get, just simply draw this table, you will get the answers. Okay, this table is very standard and fixed for all type of gear train, epicyclic gear train problems. The first condition is, see, there are different columns in this particular tabular method. First column is the step number, second is condition of motion. This is important. And then the revelations. Only three columns are there, revelations of different elements. So there are only four steps. First step is that, see, in epicyclic gear train what happens, as we want one of the shafts to be rotating about the other shaft, we should keep this shaft in contact with, or this particular gear in contact with the other gears using arm, using an arm. Okay, so this is called as arm. This arm C. Arm is also rotating. Okay, so first condition is that assume that this arm is fixed. So when you assume the arm is fixed, what will happen? Then this gear train will become a simple gear train, because if suppose if you make this arm fixed, what will happen? This gear will rotate here only, and this gear will rotate here only. Okay, so this shaft is not going to rotate about any other axis. So therefore, this will become your simple gear train. Then second condition is that again arm is fixed. Okay, in first condition, the remaining part was not discussed. So arm is fixed and gear, one of the gear, first gear rotates through one revolution. Any gear we can assume, either A or B, any one gear rotates through one revolution. That is our assumption. Okay. Second condition, arm is fixed and gear, that gear which we have considered is rotating once, rotates through X revolutions. And the third one condition is that add Y revolutions of arm to all the elements. So these Y for arm. And then total motion, the addition of all this. And here in third column, what we have to do? We have to list down the different elements. Again in different sub columns. Say here there are three elements including arm. So we have to include arm always and the gears. So gear A is there, gear B is there, arm C is there. So generally we start from the arm. So arm C, gear A and gear B. So here, as per these conditions, what we can write here, arm is fixed. It means that the revolutions of arm is zero, obviously, because it is fixed now. And A rotate through one revolution. So A rotate through one revolution. So what will be rotation of B? Obviously, you know, as per your train value, what will happen? N2 upon N1 equal to T1 upon T2. Okay. Now here T1 upon T2, instead of T1 upon T2, what we have written here? A and B. Okay. So as our flow is from A to B, so we'll just write the simple equation T upon TB. Revolution of gear will be B will be equal to T upon TB. Now why the negative sign? Negative sign is for the direction of rotation. If A is rotating clockwise, B is rotating anti-clockwise direction. Okay. Now as per second condition, again arm is fixed, so the rotation of C is 0. A rotates through X revolutions, so obviously B will rotate through the same way but multiply by X. Okay. Now add Y revolutions of arm to all the elements, because we did not consider the rotation of arm, so therefore add Y. This is very standard. We have to follow this procedure only for any problem in the epicyclic gear trans. Okay. Now add Y means what? 0 plus Y, Y, X plus Y. Okay, so we have to neglect this. Now we have to add these two rows, this and this. 0 plus Y, Y, X plus Y. Now this Y plus this. So Y minus X T upon TB. So we got everything in this particular table. So this last row is very important for us. Let us consider that we are given TA and we have to find out TB. We can easily find out using this particular tabular method. We want to find out, let us say, X and Y. X and Y means what? The speeds. Okay. Or the revolutions of gear A will be equal to X plus Y. Once you get X and Y, we'll easily find out. And this is very simple to find out this X plus Y. Okay. So we're going to solve many problems in the coming video lectures. Okay. But for this video lecture, um, up to the epicyclic gear train and the procedures, how to find out the your train value, we have discussed. Okay. And hope you have understood the simple concepts of gear train. Okay. So in coming video lectures, we are going to learn many things about the gear trains. Okay. So for thank you for hearing this video lecture. Thank you so much.